Hello everyone and welcome to Game 2 in a best of 3 series between HasuObs and Sen here on Terminus Ray. HasuObs currently taking a 1-0 lead in this best of 3 series with everything on the line. If essentially this best of 3 series is worth $1,500 for their respective clans, so there's a lot of pressure here on Terminus Ray. We have Mousesports is HasuObs spawning here as the yellow Protoss player at the 12 o'clock position. Meanwhile, we have Sen spawning as the blue Zerg here at the 9 o'clock position, continuing to just mine away, and we'll see what the strategies are here. We'll see what the strategies are here on Terminus Ray. We can see the probe now scouting out in the wrong direction, so it will be quite some time. Terminus Ray, a rather large map. Now, one of the important things to note on this version of Terminus Ray, there are no destructible rocks leading to the third base. Now, we are going to have a pylon, perhaps a forge expansion here. Pylon forge expansion here, so it looks like HasuObs once again going to try to rely on his very strong macro style of play as we saw on Tall Dream Altar. The probe now going to quickly make its way down. It does see that there is this overlord in position here, so it will most likely warp in that forge. The probe is going to go ahead and then come across the map and then try to get in position to see what his opponent is trying to go for. The drone trying to make sure, and the drone will grow up to be a hatchery with little to no problems as the probe was just simply too far away. Now, as soon as this probe comes in and sees that there is in fact a hatchery here, it may try to go in for a Nexus next before even going for anything else. And the Overlord is in position. That probe just down over here. We may see that Nexus come in just a moment. He knows that the hatchery is a little bit delayed. And now this probe just wandering around and trying to figure out what exactly the long-term goal of is Sen at this stage in the game. We are getting that one spawning pool, a drone currently being trained, but nothing really to reveal what their strategies are at this time. There is this one forge. Nexus is now being warped in. Another pylon, as Mousesports' HasuObs is currently supply locked, and now a gateway being added as well to try to complete this front door. Sen, interestingly enough, not going for an extractor yet. So with no extractor, we may get another hatchery down over here in just a moment. This is a rich Vespene geyser, so it does benefit from having those drones mine gas much more efficiently. As Sen now tries to train, or is currently training up a queen at his second base as well, quickly dumping all of his minerals in order to be able to macro up rather quickly. Taking a look at the harvester count, 20 probes compared to 16 drones. We should be getting a cybernetics core in just a moment. Zerglings are now trying to make their way across the map. I believe this one probe, did not catch them, but it looks like this one cybernetics core will be able to warp in just in time. And with this one photon cannon now nearly completed, I believe it should complete just at the right time there. And the Zerglings are not going to be able to do anything to put pressure on this door. And it looks as though HasuObs will be able to expand pretty easily, even establishing this base. Another hatchery already coming in from Sen as well. So Sen may try to harvest gas off of this extractor and this extractor only. Taking a look at the production tab, 3 drones, 4 drones now being trained up as Sen just trying to keep up on top of his macro. Another round of spawn larva should be hatching in just a moment, allowing him to just queue up more and more units. Another 6 drones, more drones now being trained. Sen's probably going to be able to dump more minerals into drones, and now queuing up 7 drones at a time. Zerglings trying to test that front door, unable to do so. 2 quick kills on that photon cannon, as the Stalker now going to try to shut down this Overlord here. We can now see HasuObs getting into a heavier gas play, running into 3 gas play, and we'll see what he tries to go for. There is that Stargate now, so Stargate Void Rays do work out well. Sen is not getting any additional queens, which does come as a bit of a surprise. He needs to get additional queens, otherwise he's going to be very vulnerable to air harass. I don't see an evolution chamber, so spore crawlers are not in the near future either. This hatchery about to be completed, and you can see this extractor already being built down as well. Some drones may be transferred to this low ground location. as some queens really need to be trained up. We'll see whether or not we're going to be going into Void Rays or Stargates. Both Void Rays or Phoenixes, both are viable options, and it looks like it is going to be Void Rays. So an army of Void Rays or a fleet of Void Rays will be moving out. I believe that's the reason why he went for double Stargate. Only reason why to go double Stargate is to get as many Void Rays as you possibly can. So yeah, it is going to be double Void Ray production off of 2 Stargates, as we are now running off of 3 base play. This extractor is already up. It is a rich Vespene Geyser, 3 drones, 3 larvae down over here ready to be hatched already, as this queen now being queued up as well. So that Void Ray pressure may deal a lot of damage. We are teching the tier 2 here, so a Hydralisk Den is not too far in the future. Hydralisk Den, one of the faster tier 2 buildings to come out from a Zerg player, so that will definitely help. There are a second queen now being trained up here. The evolution chamber is now down. A spore crawler is being added, so that spore crawler may come out just in a nick of time, as there are now 2 Void Rays on the move. Another Void Ray being added, so it's going to be 3 Void Rays now making their way out. The Spore Crawler about to be completed. It only needs 11 more seconds or so, but the range on a Spore Crawler is not that high. The range is only 7 compared to 6. I believe those Void Rays should be able to play a very, very careful dance here. Now getting some damage onto this one Spore Crawler. Now pulling off another Spore Crawler. Gonna get fully charged, and that's gonna be a problem. No transfusions, and the Queens are now trying to battle it out. So being very, very careful to try to micro with that lower hit point unit. Is he gonna get a Graviton Beam? Yes, a Graviton Beam now coming in, as one Queen has now been shut down, and now those Void Rays just trying to maintain that charge. One Void Ray does get shot down, and down goes another Queen there. It looks like that Void Ray will be able to maintain the charge, and now this one Extractor dangerously low, as the Queens are now just going to try to focus itself down once more. Double Spore Crawlers are now being rooted into position. That one Spore Crawler will get destroyed. The second Spore Crawler will be able to perhaps get some damage in, as that Spore Crawler fighting to fight back another Queen, and Phoenix trying to battle it out. And wow, these Void Rays and this air fleet just dominating the skies here. Graviton Beam should be coming in, not quite sure why. It is not, and now in comes a transfusion here. And wow, this one low hit point Queen able to get in so much damage, as the Void Rays are going to finally focus down one Queen after another, and 2 low hit point Void Rays just slowly recharging those shields, as this Queen is back over here and taking a lot of damage. It looks like the Void Rays are going to be able to get a lot of worker kills. 9 worker kills already, if you do not account for the drones that were caught up as well. The Queen now getting off another spawn larva, and the Void Rays are finally backing off. It looks like the macro of HasuObs took a serious hit during that micro intensive battle. You can see there are a lot of Phoenixes, but not enough Void Rays to really continue that pressure, and more gateways now being added. A Twilight Council also being added as well, so it looks as though Sen is going to be able to spot all of these gateways coming into play. And how will Sen respond? It looks as though, yes, a fleet of Mutalisks, or a flock of Mutalisks now out and about. That's going to be a very, very easy pickings for these Phoenixes. Those Phoenixes are going to be able to deal so much damage. They actually move faster than Mutalisks. And if they're able to pick off those units, that's going to be a very, very bad nightmare for Sen, as Sen has invested very heavily into these, 15 or 13 Mutalisks that are currently flying around the map. The Phoenix is looking to just try to get some map control as well. Another hatchery being placed down by Sen here in the center portion of the map, away from his opponent. So that is a fairly easy to take 4th base, as the Mutalisks once again try to fly in. Gonna get some easy damage, but now in come the Mutalisks. Mutalisks are now backing off, as those Phoenixes are trying to play it very, very safe, trying to get away. But those Phoenixes just need to make sure that they constantly stay within 4 range and not get within 3 range, as those Phoenixes are able to attack and move at the same time. There are now 21, or what is that, 19 Mutalisks currently in the air. More still being added, 20 Mutalisks now in the air, as Sen getting that level 1 weapons upgrade, also getting Corruptors. So those Corruptors are going to be able to perhaps attack at a Phoenix, while the Phoenix cannot attack back. That's one of the benefits for Corruptor. Even though it doesn't deal any bonus damage, it does have a base wound armor, reducing the amount of damage from a Phoenix from a 10 down to an 8. And also the fact that it has superior range. Oh, a drone quickly getting picked off there and shot down. Sen's expansion has been exposed, but now Sen knows exactly where those other those other Phoenixes are, as those Mutalisks are trying to put in a little bit of pressure, unable to do so. Phoenixes and Stalkers down below, as now in comes the swarm of this fleet of Phoenixes to try to get some more damage in. Will it be successful? It looks like it will be able to shut down some more Overlords, perhaps even shut down a couple Queens as well. Mutalisk now trying to come in, that Queen getting in some free hits, as those Mutalisks are just Phoenix walking away. The Corruptors were able to get some damage in, but not very much at all, only dealing 15 damage per attack. The Phoenix is able to back off with little to no issue. Spore Crawlers and Queens being added over here. One Spore Crawler currently being morphed into play. Queens now trying to lay down some creep tumors to try to connect these two bases here, as it doesn't look like HasuObs is trying to take up a third base just quite yet. We are getting a Templar Archives and a Dark Shrine. The only thing that I think we're missing at this stage is a Fleet Beacon, and I don't see any Fleet Beacons. 6 additional gateways now being warped in, so we are going to have 12 gate play, and that means that he will be that means that HasuObs will be able to replenish his fleet and his army rather quickly, but he doesn't have enough of an economy to currently do so. If you take a look at the current army combinations, slightly larger by Sen. Taking a look at the income, that is also slightly larger for Sen as well. So it almost feels like HasuObs is creating too many production buildings, and he doesn't have enough income to really support it. We are now going to have Dark Templars now making their way in. There is one Spore Crawler that will detect them, but the Queens are not going to be able to deal that much, and now you can see the hatchery is going to get sniped down here. Transfusions could be coming in just a moment, and we'll see how much damage is being dealt, as the Mutalisks are now trying to go after all of those Mutalisks and those the Phoenix is going after the Mutalisks and those Corruptors over here. It looks like, yeah, a couple transfusions saving that hatchery there, as the Stalkers able to deter him once again. Only 1-0 upgrades on the Stalkers. So instead of going heavy upgrades as he did last time, HasuObs going for a wide variety of units. But still, with a wide variety of units, it looks like Sen is still in a very, very dominant position. 25 Mutalisks. So his Mutalisks more than half of his army in terms of resources, as they now make their way out once more. So what is that? 2,500 resources in Mutalisk? Is it 2,500? It's probably more than that. No, 5,000 resources in Mutalisk, I believe. As the Mutalisks are once again going to try to swarm in. There are a lot of photon cannons, but the Glaive Worm chain damage just splashing across multiple probes and photon cannons as well. The Stalker is able to blink in and now force all of those units back once more. Losses wise, 5,400 versus 3,000, but compared to the relative size of the armies, that doesn't really mean much. 200 still banking 1,700 minerals, getting more upgrades, level 2 flyer attack, more Mutalisks being added, and now a massive number of spine crawlers being added. Wow, so Sen using spine crawlers and maybe able to offensively use spine crawlers, sitting on 72 drones, and these spine crawlers are going to make it very difficult for those Stalkers to really do anything at all. Archons may need to be merged in, and with those, I believe with these Corruptors and those Mutalisks, the Mutalisks will be able to shut down the Void Rays. So this is going to become very interesting, as Sen still training up more and more spine crawlers. He's currently down to 72 drones, and this is one of those strategies that is very, very rare that you ever see from a Zerg player, but it makes perfect sense in that spine crawlers are the perfect mineral dump for the Zerg army. They cost no food, deal a lot of damage, and are mobile. They are able to make their way forward and then reroute. If you think of them as non-gas siege tanks, they just take twice as long to unroute and reroute. As the spine crawlers are now fending off this attack here, the Phoenix is unable to really do anything, as there's just massive number of spine crawlers impaling and getting in so much damage here that is buying precious time for the Mutalisk to perhaps get some damage. And oh, all those probes are going to get absolutely destroyed sitting there, as the Zerglings and Banelings are now trying to run away. The Banelings are now coming into play and now backing off once more. There are a lot of Banelings. The Banelings want to push their way through, as this army now going to try to push their way in. The Banelings are now trying to catch in. They are fighting on creep, and so much damage is being dealt. Mutalisks are now coming in as well, finishing off multiple Stalkers. Corruptors are dealing damage, and wow, what a turn of events. HasuObs now with a smaller army, as the Mutalists are now going to go after all of these Stalkers. No Observer to clean up any of these creep tumors. And now finally those Mutalists once again giving chase. This Nexus has been destroyed. And Mousesports' HasuObs in a bit of trouble, not very much in production. Meanwhile, we still have a lot of minerals and still more coming out there. Zerglings once again trying to look for free and easy targets. Corruption being cast onto all of those Stalkers on the low ground, so they take additional damage, amplifying the damage that the Zerglings are able to do. The Zerglings do not have the crackling upgrade, as Banelings are now being hatched once again. It looks as though more spine crawlers are going to be rerouted. Yeah, rerouted into a very forward position here. So 4 spine crawlers now being added. More Mutalists being added as well. Banelings galore, as really the strategy of Sen is to just contain them on 3 bases. These bases are now almost mined out. The main mineral patch now down to 2. These mineral patches down to 45. They will be depleted in a moment's notice, and there's only 6 mineral patches here. The Mutalists and the Corruptors clearing out the last of these Pylons here, as now the Zealots and the Stalkers are once again going to engage. The Mutalists and Banelings are just trying to roll in. Psystorm being cast. Banelings all just getting destroyed, but taking down multiple Stalkers there. And brilliant play as the Mutalists just continue to push and just get as much damage as possible. An Archon getting in a decent amount of splash damage, but really not enough. And there's the GG by HasuObs. So HasuObs realizing that he couldn't take this game and saying GG just because of the sheer number of expansions. I'm not sure if he realized that there were additional expansions here and here already up and running. Taking a look at the resource count, 2240 versus 1360, and that really is the end of it. 83 food compared to 181. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Sen able to even up the series at 1 game apiece. And now it all comes down to one final game. Game 3, I believe, taking place on Shakura's Plateau. I will have to check for you. So 1 game for $1,500 in the name of their clan. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay and Game 2 in this best of 3 series.